Alright, so this week's focus is going to be on the rough draft, and what this video is going to be doing is giving you an in-depth explanation on how to take an outline and make it and develop it into the rough draft of your paper. So, a couple things I'm going to go over is commentary, which is explaining, elaborating, and analyzing the evidence you've provided. It's your own words and thoughts, and it's supposed to be twice as long as the evidence, and it comes after the evidence. A source word is the word in parentheses that follows a direct quote, paraphrased information, borrowed information. It's usually the author's last name or first word in the citation. And it's basically has to be something that is obvious what source it's linked to. Embedding is when you take a direct quote and you incorporate it into a sentence. A bridge sentence is a sentence that links two sentences. Transition, words and phrases that make the paper easy to follow and creates a sense of flow in the paper. Transitions can be sentences that link one paragraph to the next, one sentence to the next, one thought to the next. And the works cited page, which you need to polish up. You should have been keeping track of the works cited page, and you should have a document that has all of your citations on it, but if not, you must, absolutely must, to pass, have a works cited page. It's the last page of your paper. It lists all your sources used in the paper. It only lists the sources used in your paper, meaning if you decided you didn't like source 5 and you chunked it, don't put it on the works cited page. Sources are listed as MLA citations, and the sources are listed in alphabetical order, and they have a hanging indent. Alright, so here is my outline, and what I want to show you is I've taken all of my quotes and I've color coded them. Source 5 is going to be yellow, source 1 is green, source 2 is blue, source 4 is gray. You do not have to do this step. If you do this step, that's fine. It's not a requirement. I'm doing that so that I could show you what I need you to do. The first thing you're going to have to do is everything that says source whatever, you're going to have to now give the correct source word. So the first one that I've cited is source 5. I'm going to go down to source 5. Okay. Now my source 5 is the actual 5th source on my works cited page. That might not be the case for you, so you're going to have to make sure that your sources match whatever source you say it is. Okay, so mine match. So I'm going to look at the citation. It says the physical effects of fetal alcohol spectrum disorders, Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration 2007, and it doesn't have a URL. What I need to do is find a word that is at the beginning of the citation and obvious that it comes from the citation, and pick only one word, and it can't be a word that could be confused with another citation. So generally it's supposed to be the first word, but in this case it would be the, which I don't want it to be. So I'm going to use the word, oh, there's the rest of my citation right there. Okay, I'm going to pick up on the word physical because it's not shared in any of the other citations, and that's going to be my source word. I highlighted it in yellow because that's the color of the source. I'm going to go up to any place that is yellow, that's the source 5, and I have to change it to the word physical every time I say it. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing with the rest of the sources. So source 1, FASD identification. I don't want to use FASD even though it's not used anywhere else. It looks too similar and I don't want it to be confusing to my reader. So you always err on the side of what's easiest to be understood, because that's going to save you the biggest headache down the road. So I'm going to use the word identification. And anywhere it says source 2, or I'm sorry, source 1, I'm changing it to identification. So anywhere it's green. Which I used source 1 a lot. Okay. The next one, source 2. Okay. FAFS, if I'm not using abbreviations here, then I'll just move on to the next one. What, I think it's blue. Source 2 needs to be blue. So it's what. Okay. Source 1, source 2. Fetal alcohol effect and syndrome. Fetal alcohol effect and syndrome. I'm going to use the word fetal because it's not shared, even though it has FAS everywhere. It doesn't actually say, well, maybe not. Let me do, I might pick up on the word psychology instead. Yeah. And if it's italicized here, I'm going to italicize it there. Let me see what color I decided that was. We're on source 3. It's purple. Okay. Again, this isn't a step that you have to do. This is a step that I'm doing to show you. And if you want to do that, that's fine. You just have to unhighlight everything for the final draft. If it's highlighted on the rough draft, that's fine. Alright, so anything that's purple needs to say psychology, and it needs to be italicized. Okay, and last one, source number 4, which I made gray. Okay, source number 4 is going to be green. If they give the author's last name, that's what you're going to do, but in my case, there wasn't a lot of that, so it should be green. Yay, almost done. Alright, so let's go ahead. We've fixed our source words. Now we're actually going to write the paper. So first thing you're going to do is, actually the first thing that you need to do is, before you change everything, File, Save As, save a copy online, okay, and then you need to make it say rough draft. Okay, and the reason I'm going to tell you to do that is because you want to have your outline separate, because you can show them that you did the steps. You know, you have your sources, you have your outline, you have your rough draft, okay? And then if something happens, you can go back and see what was your original thought. So you don't want to lose that. All right.